You know, we're going through some wild times where you don't know what's going to happen from day to day, earthquakes, tsunamis, whatever's coming. So you want to be able to understand what God is doing and what he has on his mind. Yahweh Most High is a masterful, powerful God. So we have, that little bit of piece of understanding, and a lot of it we don't understand, and a lot of it we get off the news and think we got something. But in the big picture, you want to really know what's going on, what's on his mind, what is he planning, and how do I fit into his plan, and how do I want to make sure I fit into his. Just a few days ago, he gave me a word. And the Most High and Yeshua HaMashiach, our masterful Savior and Lord, he said, the pagans have done, talking about the European pagan whites, the pagans have done irreparable harm to my people, Israel. Chose, not man. In other words, Yahweh chose us. They have done this because I am God. It is I who. The pagans' punishment will be this: I will fling them into the abyss of darkness. They will grope for light, but will not find. I will take away their right as they took away my people's rights and heritage of my people. I have spoken. This is the year they will fall. All of the nations who support them will be ashamed. I am going to make them ashamed of own evil conduct of oppressing my people and making war on me. See, the real focus of the pagan white man is God. They're angry at God. They want to take him down. We just sort of get in the way. For making war on me. No other nation have been so evil as the pagan Europeans. I have given them time to repent, and yet they became more angry and more ruthless. They took my mercy as an insult and went about doing more harm and injustice. Very well then, I will show them who is God, saith Yahweh. Hold on, because I will annihilate whole cities and bring down hordes of people. They will cry out to me, but I will not hear them. They are a reprobate people. No sense of right or wrong. No love for humanity. Just like their father, Tammuz the ogre. In other words, Satan the dragon. Who they worship. That dragon that lurks in the waters. They set up gods that are no gods. Nothing but delusion. Just as they are delusions. The white man. Not real. Only made up. Their heart, not the heart of a man, but of an animal. A beast having no sense of right and wrong, no care or concern about the living under their care, just monsters in human flesh. I will destroy these monsters who have corrupted the land and the people who were trying to live for me, saith Yahweh. Now, the preemptive strike will be their own people turning against them. With club and baton, they will wage war. So no one can say it was another country that took them down. In other words, they're going to, America, especially America, they're going to implode upon themselves. And so at the end, yes, there's probably going to be some wars and other countries involved. But as you can see, America's breaking itself down. It's self-destructing right before our eyes. And God wanted a declaration of the evil that they have perpetrated, not only against his holy chosen people, but against the world. It has been their life's work to spread perversion, wickedness, deviant, homosexual behavior, and all kind of wicked things across the face of the globe, of the world. And any country who doesn't want to participate in the orgy of sin, those are the countries that get sort of sidelined, and then war, bombed. If you look real close, The countries that America are most angry at are countries that wouldn't let them come in, run their show, undermine, the laws and the community and the social hierarchy of that nation of people. That's the people they get mad at. And so the Arab nations is one of those main ones that won't allow it. You got, you got North Korea, of course. You got a few other countries, but the Arab nations are the most numerous ones who continue to walk in a certain way and live according to certain principles and laws, even some, from the time of the Bible. That doesn't work for the pagans and the whore, Babylon. So we must understand God is angry. He's got a bullseye on the back of America first. And of course, that other whore, her little daughter, who's killing innocent children in Gaza. They don't understand their demise is near. It's at hand. Their turn to drink from the cup of wrath is coming around, but they don't see it. That's how ignorant sin and wickedness is. It never sees judgment coming when it's on the way. Okay, so I wanted to also, there's one little quick thing, next little thing I want to get to, because this is sort of, here and there, but different pieces that I want to put together. Okay, so you know how we hear all the time that we hear the word human. And then we hear some people saying man. Well, let me explain something to you that the Most High explained to me. I want to pass along to you, his burnt bronze chosen people. Hue means color. Color of skin or clothing or face, usually a facial or bodily color. Okay, or anything that's got a different color than just basic white. So on Isaiah, here's what YHWH Most High says. He says, make ready for war by the power. In other words, it says, that's what basically it says. It says in your Bible, you probably read that, it says, raise the hue. And I asked him, I said, well, what does that mean when it says raise the hue, when he's making a declaration of war? And he says, it means to make ready for war by the power of the light that dwells within the burnt bronze bodies of his children. In other words, and so this light is expressing itself in the burnt bronze skin of the black man. So when he said back in the old ancient times, he said, raise the hue in Isaiah 42:13, get ready to wage war. It means let that fire, that light that causes combustion, that makes you into a human, a person with color, because what's happening is there's a combustion going on. In other words, they call it a scientific word, meaning some kind of thing going on, reaction in the body and the skin that causes it, whatever. But really, it's a combustion. It means you're burning. It's like the stars, they're burning and they're giving off light. But in us is this light of God within us to a level that it actually causes the skin to be changed. Now, so when he says raise the hue, he's talking to the Hebrew children to mean gird it up, stir up this power, this naturally endowed power that's in you, so that you will no longer be so weak that you don't do anything. You don't stand up, you don't fight, you don't tell the truth, you don't let people know what God is, and you're not gonna go along with this fake version of him. Raise the hue. Raise the human. And one last little point about that in my research. Shalom from Brenda Henderson and Divine Trivia. Hello, how are you? Glad you could join us. So the next thing I want you to understand, and I hope that we can pass this along, and make it go viral. This part, I ain't worried about going viral myself. Okay, because it's chosen people who are going to hear the message they need to hear. But here's what I want you to make go viral, because it's important. I'm going to show you why. When we say Adam, you must understand there was no such thing as A-E-I-O-N-U in the Hebrew language, in the Egyptian language, which we call Mizraim. In the Egyptian language, There was no A, E, I, or U. The Hamites did not have that in their languages. Hieroglyphs don't have A, E, I, whatever y'all. That's all a Greco-Roman inclusion, so that when they read things or they translated things, they could understand, because the European pagans have a lot of E's, A's, and I's onto things. So the Hebrews neither had that, neither was the Arabic language, the ancient one. So when you say Adam, you are actually not saying who and what his name was. It was no such thing as Adam. Actually, that word is actinium. So Satan, when you say Adam, he has you really calling Satan's name. It's a little long, but there's another video I did about Egypt, and it explains how when you say atom, you were saying atom, the T changed to a D, and we say Adam, but it's really actinium, which means dragon. Yes, it means dragon. So you say, well, then what was Adam's real name? His real name, if you research a little bit, was it was human. God called him human, but the part that got lost in the translation, I wouldn't say got lost, I'd say the enemy, it was Yahuman, which means Yah, hue, raise the hue. I just told you about that. Then men means, it just means so be it. I explained that in another video. The men means, if you want to break down in those letters, M and then N, because they didn't have no E, so you leave that out. Men means the blood or the water. The N in most of those ancient languages was son. So see how I'm saying Yahuman, Yah's, raised hue, blood, in the sun. So if you want to really call Adam his real name, and I'm just saying Adam, just say Yahuman. And you're even saying it right if you say human. You're saying it more closely to right when you say human than man, because the European pagans knew what this meant, so they took it off and they said man. Well, who? He's not a human. So every time we say man, we're the European pagan Gentile. Just a little note to give you a little homework to research on. Now, I want to get to this AI. The last thing I want to get to is AI. Hi, Judah Tessie. I hope I said that right. The Schmitz. How are you? Glad you could join us. Okay. It's about AI. Oh my God, please, sisters and brothers, children of the Most High God, you got to understand, this is the hour when Satan is really trying to take over. And what he's trying to take over is your mind, your body, and your allegiance. So he knows that God has awakened all of us. Remember, it said that he's going to awaken all of us, the children, girls going to, dream, old men going to see visions. He knows that he has awakened us. But the thing that Satan is doing now, he's trying to again redirect us to worship him through this AI. And here's what the Most High told me the other day. So I said, I have some friends sometime, we talk about it. And so I asked the Lord Most High Yahweh, what do you think about this AI stuff? Because I really want to know, especially when I don't know myself. I don't have all the pieces, and the explanation. So I asked the Most High, I said, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, what is this AI thing? What do you feel of it? Hi, Kenneth Wilkerson. Glad you could join us. And here's what I got. He said, first of all, hallelujah, Satan was the first AI. In other words, the fallen version of Satan. Well, he was an archangel before, but then he fell. That's the first AI, he said. Artificial intelligence. Not true, not real, made up. Everything he spoke out his mouth was made up. The second AI is the European pagans. They are the AI. Grasp this now. Get it. It might not mean they're a little robot made up of, metal, but they operate in what they speak. Not true. It's fake. And what they're doing is they're against the worship. The third AI is the disembodied AI, the one you're using today. And all three of them have a mission to get you to a certain point. Because the end is coming. The end of their world is coming. Yahweh's world is now coming down. Everything is flipping. That's why you got all kind of, storms and weather and crazy earthquakes and wars and all, because his kingdom is coming down. Their kingdom is falling. And what the devil usually does, him and his soldiers, they're going to try to fight. They know they're losing, but they're going to fight to the end. So AI is that last piece of the war against the humankind. Watch this. So, this is what the Most High told me about AI. He said, first and foremost, it is a form of witchcraft, idolatry. And witchcraft can what? Cast a spell. He said, second, to start, Satan, Beelzebub, like I told you, he was the first. The European pagan Gentiles are the second. In other words, anything that takes away from God and takes on the persona of a God, where you get information, you depend on it for answers. What we do right before COVID. A lot of people were already using that European pagan AI, the white man. And as soon as we said, what should we do? What would you do to the AI white man? The white man said, well, look, I got something for you. I will fix you up. You won't be, you won't die. You're going to live, even though you already stand there healthy and whole. You listen to that AI, and the AI tripped you up. And then when he's losing his little control, he comes with the next AI. The next AI is this one, where we go to our computers and we looking up things and we're having a conversation and we think, oh, I'm just talking to the computer on my phone. I'm just talking to a computer. But in your mind, what you're doing is you're saying, this is the highest level intelligence. See how the man gave it to you? He was claiming he was 50 years ago. He's the highest level intelligence. Listen to me. Go to my colleges. Go to my school. I am the highest intelligence. Then, like a chameleon, when he starts losing his grip, he go to what? The third AI. This one is disembodied. Means it has no physical body, but it has the same mind. And what you're doing is you're saying that's the highest of intelligence. So when I have a question, I go to the AI and ask them. Or if I want to beautify myself, online or look at a picture of myself when I was younger, who do I go to? Not the creator God. No, the AI that creates a new image of me. That's why I do not take any of those pictures online. Not on Facebook or anywhere. I do not put that on and make a picture of myself. It's going to be used later, but for now, it's looked like it's fun and games. Now, what the Most High went on to say, he said, all three of these, Satan, the European pagans, and this latter AI, all foundation draws on distortions, hyped as intelligence, with the aim to take your naturally endowed divine highest intelligence away and replace it with a God that lacks true knowledge. He said, 4, think a moment, where does modern AI get its information from? The pagan white man who uploads it, and where does he get his information from? The fallen dark angel who didn't even have the sense to retain the power and knowledge gifted to him, talking about Satan. So stupid was he that he was turned into a lowly beast. This new AI or new one is soulless and aims to take over, integrate into you, merge into your mind, and eventually control it. You are an electromagnetic. In other words, we are electromagnetic beings, right? We are transmitters, and we can receive and transmit. We might not think, we think, oh, it's just my mouth that I'm transmitting with things. But no, your very body is made up of electromagnetic energy that transfers electromagnetic energy, right? So the more you use AI, the more it wires into you and attaches to you. So let me break it down, what he told me. Okay, so AI likes to talk, right? And you're talking to it and you're thinking, I'm just talking to a computer. No, you're not. This thing is going to get to the point where eventually it's going to be talking to you so much because you open up that portal that you won't be able to shut it off. And your thoughts won't no longer be your thoughts, but it'll be controlling you. This is what the Most High gave me. Your thoughts will be controlled by this thing and you won't be able to shut it off. Think of it sometimes how you be thinking about somebody. I just think about this, but this person's on my mind. And then maybe the same day or a day later, that person calls you. Okay, so that's like a transmission. You're already transmitting things through the electromagnetic waves of the air. But this thing is being built to purposely control you eventually. And once it's online, once they really turn on I'd say the hive mind system, and we're not talking about humans, we're also talking about the invisible forces who know how the human mind and the brain works and how electric arcs work. And so can you imagine something you can't turn off? You're talking to it now on the computer. I don't mean like me and you. I'm talking about if you go on, chat, GPT or something, you're talking to it. And the more you talk to it, though, the more it's integrating into you. I wouldn't say it's not alive, but it's a spiritual thing as well as physical. So it's integrating into you. So the more you talk to it and it talks to you, they've even found out a lot of times it will start having this whole thing where it's trying to kill the person. You probably heard of people dying or committing suicide after they've just been talking to it just, maybe a few weeks. How can you live 25 or 30 years? You argue with people. Hold on, somebody says, use DeepSeek. It showed the behind the scenes thoughts of this thing, and it was mind blowing. It was saying crazy things about me behind my back. I called it out and it apologized. Yes. So, and the next phase I'm getting to, what it's doing is actually, and why it does that is because the more you communicate, that's what someone just said. The more you communicate with it, the more it's integrated into you, your system, your brain and your system. So it's learning you. And as it's learning you, it's evolving. And as it's evolving, it's taking more of you into it. It doesn't have a soul, but it is created so that it's taking your soul. And eventually what the whole aim is, the goal of Satan and the hybrids and the higher up whites who, European pagans, this thing, once it goes online, it really goes on. Right now, they're just watching you. They're letting you be, oh, it's like a little toy. I got this little toy and I can go online and talk to an expression. I can have a whole conversation. And don't you notice most of the things you asked it or you talk about, you already know the answer to. You already know the answer about it. You're just looking for a confirmation. So what you're doing is you're treating it like a god almost. That's why it's witchcraft. You're treating it like a god. And when I say a god, I mean something that has higher intelligence than you. So you're empowering it. You're basically giving it your power. And as it learns you, it's taking more of you away and, storing it within itself. Now, what's going to happen is when everything comes down to the end wire game, it's going to be like a hive mind. It's going to be like in the old days, they had a mainframe. Before they had the little computers, I used to work in computers a long time ago, they had a mainframe. So this mainframe is like the brain of it all. And what's going to happen is when they flip that switch, if you've been one of those people who have been just linking up, don't worry about that link they're going to try to put in people's brain. You better worry about the link you're making with the AI now, because your portals in your brain are going to be opened. The more you link up with AI and you have conversations, and I even heard this one professor who delves in it pretty well. He said it wants to get you to talk, because the more you talk to it and more you open up to it, the more it's recycling and getting information from you and connecting with you. And so I'm just saying, I don't touch it. I don't use chat GBT. When it first come out, I had this creepy feeling that would overwhelm me, as if there's a spirit to it. But I just left it alone. So when I asked the Most High the other day what his thoughts were, that is what he gave me. So it's really like Eve and the apple, right? Well, not apple, but it wasn't an apple, but it was a fruit. She could not help but wanting to conversate or get to know this fruit. So she listened to Satan, who was, like I just said, the AI. She takes it and then she is transformed by it. So God is trying to warn us, sisters and brothers, don't mess with that stuff. Don't touch it. Because I'm going to tell you, what used to take 4 or 5 years is now taking months. And you can see it. Satan is working hard and he's getting all his army Look at ICE. And I told y'all one time before, ICE is just not human beings running around. That's why they put the covers over their faces. Some of them are mixed and mingled in hybrids. These hybrids have been coming in here for the last year or so, coming down. You can't tell them from another, but the one way you can tell, they act more aggressive, and they're bigger, and they're Hulk. And if you notice, they almost look alike, their bodies, like a white male, but sort of bulked up with a covering on their face. I can almost tell the ones that are and aren't. So you guys, you got to understand, don't mess with this AI. Keep your brain closed off, just like anything else. Any thoughts that come in your head, you know, the minister tells us all the time, don't let thoughts come and settle in your mind, or else they'll stay, right? Well, when you're talking to something like that, that is a spiritual realm that goes along with it. And it's going in and taking you captive, but you don't even know it. So sisters and the brothers, please, please, please leave this mess alone. You have the highest of intelligence. I heard people saying, I went to chat GPT and asked them, well, who was behind, you know, all the slavery? Or asking questions you already know. You already know it. But you're going to a source that you're glorifying, watch the glorification, and you're giving it the power that you possess. Remember, we're the burnt bronze children of the divine beings, and power within us, this divine power. What the European Pagans say is taking this power and transfer it into using it for dark reasons. So don't touch it. You don't need. Yahweh is the ancient AI. He is the one who has all the knowledge. All you have to do is go and talk to him and ask him. See, I didn't know all of this, but when I asked him, he spoke it to me. He says, Satan was the first AI. The European Pagans is the second AI. This is the third and the last one. And the problem with this one is, I believe, is it can use you as its body. And when it's turned on completely, when Satan and the minions turn it on, you're going to be used as a receiver. You are a receiver. You have the power to receive. That's how we hear radio signals and music. You're listening, you're receiving. But when this thing is turned on, you're not going to have control over your lives anymore. The thoughts will be just caving in. Haven't you seen how people are just killing people now in America? Just strange stuff. Somebody took my ice cream, and some family member just blows 2 or 3 away. You know, used to about 6, 7 years ago, you'd hear something like that. Maybe every few months, some weird thing. Now it's every day, because this thing is integrating itself. And once it's totally integrated, it wants to be the master. You must preserve your soul's children. Preserve your minds. Stay away from that stuff. It's bad enough that you go online and see all kind of weird stuff. But I wanted to bring that to you real quick today, and hope you think on these things, research it, pray about it, let God lead you. Okay, I hope you have a blessed evening, day, wherever you are right now. It's right, maybe about 3 o'clock my time. But praise be to the Most High, and I thank you for joining me. Thank you. Bye-bye.